Now from a reading from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 19, verses 1 through 10. And we're continuing on. I guess the lectionary does a series right now of Luke, so we're just continuing on. Just going a couple chapters later. And it says that Jesus entered Jericho and was passing through it. A man was there named Zacchaeus. He was a chief tax collector and was rich. He was trying to see who Jesus was, but on the occasion of the crowd he could not, because he was short in stature. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore tree to see him, because he was going to pass that way. When Jesus came to that place, he looked up and said to him, "Zacchaeus, hurry down, for I must stay at your house today." So he hurried down and was happy to welcome him. All who saw it began to grumble. "He has gone to be a guest of one who is a sinner." Zacchaeus stood there and said to the Lord, "Look, half of my possessions, Lord, I give to the poor. And if I have defrauded anyone of anything, I will pay them back 4 times that amount." Then Jesus said to him, "Today salvation has come to this house, because he too is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and to save." Something happened between verse 4 and verse 8. I don't know if you guys noticed it. Something that happened. I don't really fully understand it. Something happened between Zacchaeus climbing up that tree and becoming an extravagant giver. He had changed. He'd become a different person than he was before. Just last week we learned that tax collectors were not the greatest people in the world. They were often corrupt, greedy individuals. And Zacchaeus was not just a tax collector, he was the chief tax collector. He was the top executive of the full business operation. He was a wealthy man with a full bank account, diversified portfolio, and many possessions. We can only assume that not all of his wealth was gained with integrity. He probably scammed people when given the opportunity. Maybe even stuck his hand in the cookie jar and pocketed the cash. Greedy, selfish, inward thinking were words to describe him. But then something happens. Just picture the scene with me. A short, prominent business executive cannot see the celebrity that everyone is talking about, even if he stood on his tippy toes. So he devised a plan to run ahead of the crowd and to climb onto a huge sycamore tree like a child, so he could get a better view of Jesus as he walks by. And we have to think about this. Zacchaeus probably struggled to climb up a tree. It probably would have been a sight. And it must have been really hard to balance yourself on a branch and not make sure the branch falls down. But that's what he did. And then Jesus walks by, and a massive crowd was surrounding him. The scripture tells us that Jesus looked up, and he told Zacchaeus to come down from the tree. In that moment, Zacchaeus encountered Jesus. He encountered the holy, the divine, God made flesh. We can only imagine what the face of Christ looked like. But Zacchaeus did not just see just another person looking at him. He saw something far more. saw Jesus looking at him with deep eyes that hold the secrets of the universe, eyes that saw past his scamming ways, eyes that looked beyond the fake facade that everyone knew him by, eyes that saw the soul within him, eyes that loved and accepted him just the way he was. Jesus told Zacchaeus that he wanted to spend time with him. Of all the people in the crowd, he wanted to hang out with him. What overwhelming emotion must have flooded Zacchaeus' heart that Emmanuel, God with us, wanted to be with him. Without hesitation, Zacchaeus gladly welcomed Jesus to his house. Tonight he was going to pull out the red carpet for Jesus. Only the good china would be used. And they would eat only the finest foods. What a party that would be held in Jesus' honor. What interesting conversations they would have. But not everyone was happy about this. Some people were not pleased with Jesus' choice of association. They whispered, like sometimes people do. They whispered and talked amongst themselves. How could he have gone to be a guest of a tax collector, a scoundrel, a wretch, a sinner? I find it interesting that some people, like those in the story, feel that they have a right to judge who can be in the presence of God and who cannot. I find it interesting that some people put limits on God's love. What I find to be most fascinating is how much Zacchaeus changed from his encounter with Jesus. It seems that after being in the presence of God, his priorities changed. Zacchaeus' get-rich-fast scheme didn't seem to matter anymore. The shiny enticement of money had lost its appeal. Now he was more interested in making right all the people he had wronged. And giving back not only what he had stolen, but 4 times that amount. We see from the scriptures that Jesus did not demand that he repay the people that he had scammed. Zacchaeus gave the money out of his own free will, out of the abundance of his heart. He wanted to show Jesus that he wasn't the same person that he was before. Zacchaeus was made whole once again. While Jesus no longer walks this earth, I believe that we encounter God, the holy, the divine, even today. This past Friday, the day after Halloween, was a special day in the life of the church. It was All Saints' Day, or also known as All Souls' Day. It's a day that we remember our loved ones who have died and gone from this world into the next. Our grandmothers, our grandfathers, our mothers, our fathers, our sisters, our brothers, our husbands, our wives, our friends, our loved ones, the ones we hold so dear. I've sat at the deathbed of my grandfather and of a 2-month-old patient in trauma ICU. What a holy moment it was. For those who have sat at deathbeds, you may know what I'm talking about. I felt the presence of God in the room, calm and peace that passes all understanding. God was there. God moved. And God holds us with arms of love. After leaving the bedside, after leaving the presence of God, life seems different. Our priorities change. The petty, superficial things of life seem silly. stupid arguments, the minor inconveniences, our possessions, our money. They're not as important as they once were. Life is put into perspective. Our relationships with God and with others seems most important. Like Zacchaeus, we want to make right all those around us. Say the words that are long overdue. I'm sorry. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you. We also encounter God in other ways, in the radiant beauty of sunrises and sunsets, with brilliant colors and patterns that are far superior to any high-definition picture. We encounter God in moments of crisis and in uncertainty, through our prayers, our tears, and the prayers we never speak. We encounter God in everyday moments, in the smile of a child, in breaking of bread, and in spending time with those we love. God, may we encounter you every day. Amen. Now for our offering invitation.